What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Los. I just gotta make this video real quick, man. I don't know why I'm even doing this video. I feel like God told me to make this video and let everybody know what's been going on with me. I know y'all been seeing a lot of me on Facebook putting things about glory to God and I believe in God and all the glory and honor to God and stuff. And I know it's a shock to most of y'all because a lot of y'all don't know me for being like that. Y'all don't know me as being a person like that. So I feel like God put this in my heart to just explain to y'all and tell y'all why I'm like this. Maybe I'll say something that'll help some of y'all. I don't know. He just felt like he told me to make this video, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a little piece of my testimony, but just to the part that's going on in my life right now about my baby. There's plenty more I can get into. It goes back before that, but I'm just gonna share this piece with y'all. Me and my wife, we have been trying to have a baby on our own for about 4 years, and it didn't happen. No matter what we did, it didn't happen. We tried everything. Drink this, eat this, do that. And we did everything in our own power to have our baby, and it didn't work. My mom got saved and went to church. That take you to another story. But long story short, we ended up at Restoration Christian Center on Pearsall Road. It's a small church. If you live in this area, you know, Sky Harbor, Indian Creek, Valley High, Pearsall Road. If you live in this area, you know the tire shop on Pearsall, the FEMAT, is right next door to it. That's the church we go to. We decided we were going to fast. In December, we started learning about fasting. So we decided we're going to go ahead and fast and leave everything up to God, whether He wanted us to have this baby or not. We're just going to leave it up to God. So in the end of December, Christmas was coming around. I bought my wife a baby outfit, and I gave it to her for Christmas with all her other gifts. And I did that in faith, because I really truly believed that God was going to bless us with the baby, and it was just up to Him. Obviously, everything that we tried wasn't enough, so we needed a higher power. We needed something else. Doctors told us they weren't sure if my wife could have kids. They said she's not going to have kids, and we don't know, but nobody could tell her why she wasn't going to have kids, what was wrong with her. Nobody could pinpoint it, so doctors couldn't help us. To me, that's the highest human power we can go to. Doctors, they should be able to figure it out and make it happen. They couldn't. So we went to God and we learned about fasting. We fasted. Everybody told us, you know, go buy this book. Go buy this book. It's a good book about fasting. And me being the person that I was then, this is just in December, so I'm still new to all of this. They were like, you know, try this and try that and read this book. And I just didn't see myself driving to the bookstore, spending the $25 on a book that I wasn't even sure if it was going to work or not. And I'm being real with you. This is how I felt at the time. And I didn't come on this camera all dressed up, and I'm a barber. I don't even have a haircut. I haven't shaved. I just came up here to be real with y'all, exactly how I am at my house. God told me to make this video, and I'm going to make it just the way I am. God accepts you as for who you are and not for what you look like and what you do. So I'm keeping it all the way live and direct with y'all. Back to the story. I bought her the outfit. We started learning about fasting. They told us to read this book. People in the church were telling us about it. I didn't see myself spending the money on that book, so I wasn't going to go buy it. We went to a yard sale. We hardly ever go to yard sales. We go to a yard sale and there's the book sitting there for $0.25. So I got a smirk. I knew God was putting it in telling me, here, take this book and read it, because I'm about to tell you something. So I'm like, okay. So we took that book. My wife read it. In the book, there was a story about a lady that fasted for a baby. And I was like, of course the book would say that. Like, you know, of course that's why they were telling us to read the book. I still wasn't sure about all of this or where I was in my faith. I knew God was real. I always believed God was real, but I didn't know if He could do this for us. And we learned more, so we fasted all of January. And He started showing us things and revealing things to us about Himself and about His Holy Spirit and about His grace and His kindness and His love and His mercy. And I would hear something at work. Somebody would tell me something at work like, man, you know, God bless you, or your blessings on your way. At the barbershop, somebody would say that, or somebody would post something on Facebook. And during the time of fasting, you become sensitive to the Spirit. So I felt like He was talking directly to me. And then I would come home and my wife would be on Pinterest, or she would be on watching TV, or she would be somewhere and somebody would tell her the same thing that I heard at work. And to us, that wasn't a coincidence. That had to come from God. So we fasted. You know, we went through the whole month fasting. February 1st came around, we took a pregnancy test, negative, no baby. I was sad, but I wasn't I wasn't done believing in God. I knew He had something else for me. I knew there was more for me in store, and I believed in. I took it all by faith. 2 weeks later, I go to work, still praying God, still asking Him for what I wanted. I knew we fasted. The pastor told us if you fast, you pray without ceasing, and you give unto God, that He'll answer your prayer. Whether the answer is yes or no, He's going to answer your prayer for you. So I still hadn't had an answer yet. She wasn't pregnant. I knew my answer wasn't no. I felt it wasn't no. And then we didn't know what to believe at that, or what to think at that point. So 2 weeks later, I'm at work. My wife calls me. She's like, hey, can you come home real quick? I need you to see something. I'm like, all right. I didn't think nothing of it. I didn't have a customer at the time at the barbershop. I jumped in the car, and my world just got slow. Everything just slowed down. I started crying, and at this point, I'm sitting there like, all right, what's going on? I don't even know why I'm crying. And that's when I realized God dropped it on me that it was the Holy Spirit that I was feeling, and I was crying. And at that point, I'm in my car. I put my hands in the air, and I submitted to God, and I just said, thank you for letting my wife be pregnant. And she hadn't told me that she was pregnant. I just said, thank you for letting my wife be pregnant. I left y'all know where I work, at the barbershop on Valley High, Razor Sharp. I left, and I pulled over right in front of the Jack in the Box on the Valley High access road. And I did it again. I raised my hands up again, and I cried out to Him, and I was saying, thank you, I love you. And we end up, still going to church. And when I get home, I drive home, I come to the front door, my wife grabs my hand and takes me inside, walks me to the restroom, and hands me a pregnancy test, and it said positive. Now, after 4 years of trying on our own, doing what the doctor said, taking this test, taking that test, take this pill, do this, do that, it didn't work. And I had to basically submit myself to God, and my wife had to submit herself to God. My mom, my brother, my sister, my stepdad had to all submit ourselves to God before He blessed us with this baby. Well, I remember when I first got to the church, there was a little young boy there, and this is part of the testimony. There was a little young boy there. His name was AJ, and I saw him doing all kinds of things for the church, man. He would go up there and turn the music on and, help do this and do that. And he was just all over the place. He was a young boy at McCullough Middle School is where he was going. And I was like, man, this young kid to have that much faith. And I'm over here like, I was still weary, like I didn't want to raise my hand up when I liked something, or I didn't want to say amen. And I was a self-conscious person at the time about the Lord. I didn't want everybody to know I was in church. I didn't want people to know that I believed in God. But I saw his faith and the things that he did. He didn't care what nobody thought about him. And he just did everything that he could for God. And that really inspired me a lot. And that kicked in the whole process of me doing all of this. So, long story short, man, I want y'all to know God is real. And y'all should submit yourselves to a man and give him a chance and see what he could do for your life. Anything that you want, man, I'm sure he can give you what you want and give you something greater for it. And this is him. This is the baby right here. Maverick Steel DeLuna. I mean, if God can give life, he could fix life, so don't worry about what you're going through. Don't worry about anything. We got our blessing from God, and you can't stop believing in God. He's great. He's a great God. He could do anything. As you can tell, he can make a little baby for us. So this is just a little bit of my story, man. I felt God told me to do it. I hope y'all enjoy it. And feel free to reach out to me, man. I'm willing to pray with y'all, help y'all with anything I can, anything that I know about. I don't know it all. I'm not perfect by any means, but I'm willing to help with whatever I can. So thanks for listening, man. God bless.